Today we're diving deep into history. We're following the traces of a country that has been left in the shadow of a war that ended in 1975, abandoned and forgotten. A place that was once one of the most powerful states in Asia, but was reduced to ruins by political struggles and wars. This place is both a symbol of a lost state and a people who have disappeared from history: South Vietnam. These lands once witnessed global wars, shaping the destinies of millions. Now, they have almost become a ghost country, shrouded in silence. So what happened here? How did South Vietnam vanish? Let's explore the story of these lost lands together. In the 19th century, France's influence in Southeast Asia was growing rapidly. As France colonized Vietnam, it also imposed control over neighboring regions. In 1887, the French Indochina was formed, uniting Vietnam with neighboring Cambodia and Laos under French rule. During this period, significant infrastructure investments were made, such as railroads, ports, and schools. However, this also came with intense oppression of the local population. During World War II, the Japanese occupation ended France's control over the region. However, after the Japanese withdrew, France tried to reassert its rule, sparking the independence movement in Vietnam. Under the leadership of Ho Chi Minh, the Viet Minh started the resistance against the French. The Battle of Dien Bien Phu in 1954 led to the French withdrawal from Vietnam. Following this war, the country was temporarily divided into North Vietnam, communist, and South Vietnam, capitalist. South Vietnam was supported by the United States and other Western powers, while the North remained under communist control. The United States decided to support South Vietnam against the growing threat of communism after the Korean War. This decision was part of the larger ideological conflict during the Cold War, a time of intense global power struggles. In the 1960s, America began sending military advisors and financial aid to South Vietnam to sustain the war effort. From 1965 to 1969, the war escalated dramatically. With America's direct intervention, the conflict became much bloodier. The impact of the war was felt not only on the military front but also by civilians who suffered massive casualties. Napalm bombs, chemical weapons, and deforestation led to severe ecological damage in the region. The 1968 Tet Offensive, a large-scale assault by North Vietnam on South Vietnam, shifted the course of the war. This attack revealed that America's victory was far from certain, and that public support for the war was fading. In 1973, the Paris Peace Accords led to America's withdrawal from Vietnam. However, South Vietnam eventually fell to North Vietnam. On April 30, 1975, Saigon fell, marking the official end of South Vietnam and the reunification of the country under communist rule. The scars of war are still visible across South Vietnam in the form of abandoned military bases and bunkers. For instance, the Cu Chi tunnels, used by North Vietnamese forces during the war to hide and launch attacks, have now become a popular tourist destination. Yet, walking through them, you can still feel the horror of the war. The experiences of the American soldiers stationed in Vietnam, the trauma faced by civilians, and the lasting scars of fear and loss are still evident today. Many Vietnam War veterans suffer from serious health issues due to the use of chemical weapons like Agent Orange. Furthermore, millions of people were displaced, turning into refugees during the war. Ho Chi Minh City, the former capital of South Vietnam, stands on the site of Old Saigon. Today, it is the country's economic hub and largest metropolis. However, the cultural influences of Old Saigon are still visible in its streets, local food, and traditional way of life. In the 1980s, Vietnam began its economic reforms and rapid growth. Despite this, there remains a cultural tension between the capitalist past of South Vietnam and the socialist ideology of the North. The cultural heritage of Saigon, especially in business and modern life, still reflects traces of its former capitalist identity. Today, Vietnam has emerged as a rapidly developing country. However, the capitalist influences of old South Vietnam and the way of life from those times still echo in the culture. While people focus on economic success, many still carry a sense of nostalgia for the past. Our journey through the lost lands of South Vietnam has offered a deeper look into history. The scars of war and ideological struggles still linger in these lands. However, the forgotten legacy of this region is not just a reminder of war, but also a symbol of human resilience. Today, walking through the bustling streets of Old Saigon, we can still feel the traces of war and the story of a vanished past. South Vietnam may be gone, but this loss lives on in the memories of its people and its history. Who knows, perhaps this lost history can illuminate the future of other vanished nations around the world. What do you think? Can the traces of the past ever truly disappear? Do you think the cultural tensions between the old South Vietnam and the North still exist today? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this historical exploration, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. In our next video, we will explore Vietnam's post-war reconstruction and the societal changes that followed. If this kind of history interests you, stick with us.